What is going on, my thumbs? This is Sunbrother2 bringing you guys our Week 10 Team Builder here for the Salt Lake City Swampbirds and the LDL. Your Salt Lake City Swampbirds are currently sitting at 7-2 after an incredible victory over Carlos and the Iowa Cubshoes. If you guys missed that battle, I definitely suggest you check it out because it was a wild ride the entire time. But this week, you guys, we are actually going to be taking on a newcomer to the LDL in Coach Donnie, who is the coach of the Phoenix Sunflora. So if you guys are hyped about this battle, definitely leave a like down below. Donnie is currently sitting at 4-5. And like I said, we are 7-2, so we are actually the top seed of the entire LDL right now, and I want to keep it that way because I want that bye week for playoffs, so we can immediately, bounce into the semifinals instead of the quarterfinals. So I have his team on the screen. Of course, we're gonna go ahead, go over it, talk about his mons, because Donnie has a very, very impressive team. Donnie actually took over the team from a coach that just ended up leaving, so it's whatever. But he still has a very, very impressive team, and he is a very, very impressive battler. But of course, I'm going to give you my thoughts about each of his mons, what he could potentially bring, and what I'm bringing. So first off, let's start off. We have that Landorus Therian form, which is just also powerful. It's just ridiculous. I believe a base 91 speed with Intimidate. It makes it a really good possible, bulky mon, assault vest. It could be running stealth rocks. It could U-turn out, but it could also be super offensive with like a choice scarf, which is something we might want to look out for. Next up, we have Toxapex. Toxapex, of course, for some reason in the LDL just ruins live. It got a huge buff this with Ultra Sun and Moon getting access to liquidation, as a lot of water types did. But water poison type is just a wonderful combination for it, as it allows it to stall out, and because it is a bulkier mon, you can't poison it. So we're gonna have to hit that thing as hard as we can, as quick as we can, before all of our mons are just pretty much worn down. Up next, of course, we have the Shaman. Shaman is really interesting. I've had it before on my team, it being a base 100 mon across the board, and like I said, it could be bulky, it could be offensive, it could come as needed, and with such a wide move set, with like Earth Power, Dazzling Gleam, Seed Bomb, Substitute Leech Seed, it could really stall us out, or really just be on the offensive with a Substitute Life Orb set, with maybe synthesis or something. Next up is Talonflame. Talonflame, incredibly scary for us, just because that access to Gale Wings, giving it that priority with at least one flying type move at full health, is definitely scary. You could Bandit, Sharp Beak it. Flare Blitz is also scary for us. It could also bring Defog with Flame Charge set or something like that, just to really outspeed all of our mons, because he really does have a fast team, you guys. And if he does decide to bring that Talonflame, I definitely do need to get rocks up as quick as I can. Up next, of course, we have the Magneton. Magneton is really interesting because you don't necessarily have to bring the Eviolite for it to do work. You can Magneton has really decent stats to where you could even Scarf or Specs it to really put in a lot of work, but if he does decide to bring it, I really see it as more of a stall type of mon, really wanting to put in effort against our Mega Aggron. Stuff like Hidden Power Fire and all that stuff, just something out of the blue like that. And if he does carry the Eviolite, then we'll definitely need to knock it off so we can do a lot of damage to it. Another possible Eviolite mon, which is where I do see the Eviolite coming, is on that Dusclops, right? Dusclops? Duskull, Dusclops, Dusknor? Yeah, Dusclops. Just a fat mon. Like, seriously, this thing is super fat, and I've seen this Dusclops put in work, just editing the docs for the LDL this season, watching his battles, him using this thing, the Will-O-Wisp, the Toxic, the Nightshade. It can honestly put in a lot of work, and it is very stalling mon. So if that is the case and he does decide to bring it, we will have to really be careful, because it can really just hurt us. Speaking of hurting us, we do have the Mega Latios, just a overall powerful mon. I don't know why we've allowed it this season in the LDL. I really don't. But Mega Latios just hits like a truck. It's his biggest wall breaker on his team. It can Calm Mind set up. It can Dragon Dance set up. So we have to be careful on the physical and special side of things. It can defog if he really wants to. Roost Stall is also a thing. But if he does decide to bring it, I do almost potentially see Calm Mind, just because it's the scariest set on this thing. And with it rocking such an incredible speed stat, we do have to be cautious in how we use some of our Pokemon. We do have a Scarfer this week, if I'm not mistaken, and so with all that in mind, we have to make sure that, you know, we can wear this thing quickly, because we went against Latios earlier in the season, and with Mega Aggron there, you know, we could have eaten up one Draco Meteor, but with this Mega Latios here being the stronger of the two Eons and getting that, that whole Mega Evolution boost, it's not looking too good for us. But up next to pair off, to start rounding off his Dragon Fury Steel core is Sylveon. Sylveon is just another incredible wall breaker. I've seen this thing specs and putting in the work. Just Moonblast just honestly just handles so many different things on his team. I mean, just handle so many things, two-shots a lot of things. It could also be a heal build, put Tom Pass user wanting to be more bulky, but like a Pixelate specs or even Pixelate Pixie Plate just does the damn work. Throwing on a Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Fighting, something along those lines really does put in a lot of work on our team, against our team, so we do have to be very careful about that. Then, rounding everything off, we do have Cobalion for that Steel type. Cobalion is a problem. Cobalion is a problem, I'm not gonna lie. Pardon me. He can gain initiative by wanting to Volt Switch around. He can outspeed a lot of our Mons speed tying with Infernape actually at base 108 speed. So very, very problematic, as well as just being Steel and Fighting type. It does, you know, it can take up a lot of hits alongside, you know, Iron Head, Close Combat. And I think it might even get Poison Jab too, if I'm not mistaken, so we will have to be careful about it. However, the one thing I will say about it is it does need to set up a Swords Dance, in my opinion, to really put in a lot of work. But if he does get that Swords Dance up, it will be, you know, very, very challenging to handle it. Up next, of course, is Greninja. Torrent Greninja, not Protean, thank you. That's all, and you know, Greninja can once again just do a bunch of different things to our team. It can be offensive, it could be Specs, Hydro Pump, something like that. It could we could probably want to set up Toxic Spikes instead of the Toxapex, or the instead of the Toxapex. There's Gunk Shot, there's Dark Pulse Stab and stuff, and being at such a high speed stat, you know, it really just outspeeds all of our Mons except for Jolteon. Which is just super, super scary, and if he wants to sash this thing, he can hold on with, you know, 1 HP and hit us back as hard as he can, and then from there, you know, there's not really much I can do. And so if he does decide to bring the Greninja, we will have to be very careful to see if it's specs or if it's sashed, and hopefully just be able to play around it accordingly. And last but not least, we have Avalugg. Avalugg is just a super physically bulky mon. Like, even though it's an Ice type, which Ice type does have a lot of weaknesses, it's a rapid spinner, so it can get rid of rocks. It has access to recovery, and Flare Blitz or Close Combat from Infernapes. I don't even think it two shots. so if he does decide to bring it, we have to hit it from the special side. And of course, he does have his Z Crystal. Z Crystal for Donnie is going to be that Rockium Z, which pairs really, really nicely with that Landorus, as well as the Cobalion. I'm not sure where else it could possibly pair up with anything. So if we do see that Landorus and we don't really see an item on it, we can deduct that it's not banded, scarfed, or something of that nature, we could potentially be fearing like a Rockium Z, which is a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie. But all in all, for his team, it's really, really tricky just because he can bring so many different Mons. But the main Mons I see that can just honestly just end their team are going to be the Landorus. It's going to be the Dusclops, the Megaladio. I see his Fairy Dragon Steel core coming. I see Latios, Sylveon, Cobalion coming. I see Landorus. I see Dusclops. And to round it off, it can be any of his remaining Mons. Yeah, so it's those 5 plus any other 6. You know, the Toxapex, the the Shaman, the Talonflame, the Magneton, the Greninja, or the Avalugg. Any of those can come in that 6th spot, and there's no way that I can definitely guarantee it, but those first 5 I can guarantee will come. If he doesn't bring one of them, I'm honestly going to be shocked. Let's go ahead and jump into our team now. Starting off the roster once again, you know, I'm just falling in love with this Mon more and more as, you know, the time goes by. But I'm gonna actually, let's see, something's going on with this. What is going on here? Let's see, what has happened here? Something's going on with my adjustments here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna fix this really quick. Let's see, got that. Here I built all this up, and now all this is happening. Of course, you know, it's never gonna be a wonderful team builder with me, just because something has got to go wrong. Something always goes wrong with my team builders, so, you know, it's whatever. It's literally whatever. Is that looking better? Is that looking better? That is. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our team. First up on our team, like I said, I'm falling in love with this Mon. We have Contra Base, our X-Cloud, Choice Specs once again, Max Speed, Modest, because it just hits so hard. Like, seriously, Toxapex, you know, being such a huge wall, and Dusclops being such a huge wall. Choice Specs, I believe 2-shots both of them, even if they're especially bulky. The only thing that really can handle is maybe like an Assault Vest Toxapex for some reason. If he really wants to bring that set, I don't know why, but like, we just click Boom Burst and we destroy so many different things. Fire Blast, of course, is there for things like the Shaman, like the Magneton, like for the Cobalion, for the Avalugg. Those 2 moves in particular really do put in a lot of work for the spread against this whole team. If Fire Blast can't 2-shot, Boom Burst definitely can. Of course, we got the Scrappy on there too. Hit that Dusclops. Surf and Ice Beam are there just to kind of round off for like a really safe medium play. Say if Landorus or Talonflame want to come in, or there's something there I want to lock myself into. We just got to guarantee that we land the Fire Blast, and that's about it. But X-Cloud is looking very, very powerful, and I'm happy that we're getting to use this Mon just so much. I'm hoping to use this Mon so much. But up next, of course, it's not going to be a week without our Mega Aggron. Our Palladium is here once again, bringing a very physically very offensive set, kind of what I wanted to do last week, which we weren't able to pull off. Well, did we? Kind of. We almost were able to pull it off if we didn't crit. But Mega Aggron, 248 HP, 252 attack, 8 in defense. Just that extra attack just really allows us to one-shot a lot of Mons. The HP is there to allow us to eat up a lot of hits. I mean, yeah, there's the Flare Blitz, there's the Earthquake from Talonflame and Landorus, there's the Close Combat from Cobalion. But other than that, not a lot of things really don't really want to attack us or just stay on the field. Yeah, we might get 2-shotted by like a Sylveon or like say maybe possibly like a Specs Hidden Fire Magneton, but you know, nothing wants to stay in and take an attack from us. So for that reason, you know, I have Heavy Slam, Earthquake, of course. General Spread hits everything relatively hard, besides the Toxapex, if I'm not mistaken. Avalanche, of course, is there for the Landorus Therian form. We one-shot it no matter what, even after the Intimidate. It could also be beneficial for that Shaman. And I have Toxic on there primarily for things like the Avalugg, the Megalodios, or the Dusclops. Just those Mons in general just are more so a problem than most, of course. Shaman getting access to, I believe it's like Natural Heal or something like that, Natural Cure. On Switch Out, it heals it off, so if we want to Toxic it, I mean, we can, but I would much rather go for like an attack than Toxic it. But yeah, so it's very, very powerful this week. Hopefully we will be able to put in the work. And yeah, moving on. Next, we have returning. We have Rain Man making his return, who is going to be our physically defensive one this week. Rocking the Calm Mindset, though. Calm Mind is very, very awesome this week for us, just because we might have the potential to set up on quite a few Mons. That really being the Cobalion, the Avalugg, the Toxapex, as long as we don't get Toxicked. And you know, knockoff is almost a problem for us, you know, on the Landorus. However, you know, Scald Psyshock really has a wonderful coverage for his team, especially after we do get up a couple of Calm Minds. Shaman is the big problem for us setting up in front, setting up those Calm Minds, just because if it is more physically defensive, Shaman can just come on in and just really threaten us out, and I don't want that. So Slack Off is there just for longevity. And, you know, hopefully Calm Mind is something that we can hopefully just begin to set up and get that sweep with. Because if we can, it's going to be a wonderful victory for Rain Man. And then, of course, up next, we're going to be having one of our harder-hitting mons, and that being Jack the Jolteon, who is going to be our expert belt user. Jack the Jolteon, almost to max speed, of course. We're wanting to outspeed everything by 1 point. I believe I sped crept on a Jolly Talonflame, which I think is his fastest mana, is either Jolly Talonflame or max speed Greninja. I can't remember which one's faster, but very, very standard set as far as its attacks, that being Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power, Ice, and Shadow Ball. Just, you know, the whole spread allows us to hit pretty much everything. You know, got Hidden Power Ice for the Landorus, for the primarily for the Landorus, even the Mega Latios doesn't want to take it. The Thunderbolt and Thunderbolt, of course, for Toxapex, Talonflame. Greninja doesn't really want to take it. Shadow Ball allows us to hit that. Mega Latios a lot better. Thunderbolt, General Stab, and then yeah, it's pretty standard. Nothing too big, and the Expert Belt is there just to allow us to potentially bluff a Scarf, especially with that Talonflame if he doesn't want to bring it Scarf. Or anything in general, I can pretty much Volt Switch out, bluff that Scarf throughout the whole game, and then with Life Orb, even though we lose a little bit of that damage, us hiding that fact that it could be Scarf and he doesn't want to handle anything, we could even scare out a lot of different threats, like, say, that Cobalion or that Mega Latios if it wants to do something to us. Or even that Landorus, if we figure out that it is Scarf, we could send in Jolteon, you know, possibly without hesitation, to bluff the Scarf and stuff like that. It's really hard to explain my thoughts on the go. It's hard to explain my thoughts on the go, and when it's in the battle, you know, I think my thoughts are maybe a bit clearer, I don't know. But yeah, that's Jack or Jolteon hoping to put in the work. Then following up, we do have returning. It's been a while since, you know, this mon's been used on the team, but we have Corsage coming back this week. She is the Choice Scarf user, and just looking over his team, you know, it was very, very challenging to figure out, you know, who do I want to Scarf over, you know, Jolteon or Corsage, but I felt like while I could have brought a Toxic Spike set for this week, you know, Toxapex is there. There's a lot of mons that, you know, are floating above the air, or a lot of bulkier mons. And so I opted for the offensive. We have Technician on there to, of course, power up our Hidden Power Ice, which does one-shot the Landorus, Choice Scarf, max speed, almost max speed, actually. I am running a modest set, 252 special attack, 196 in speed, just because unfortunately for us, the Landorus outspeeds us by 1 point. 1 point! And so because of that, I was looking at speed tiers, trying to figure out what I can do. Do I want to run this thing, you know, max speed or something like that? And when it came down to it, his next lowest mon, I can't remember which one it was for speed, I could easily run Modest and Speed Creep on that. And with the Scarf on it, it still allowed us to outspeed Talonflame at, which is his fastest mon, without Scarf, which is really, really nice. Of course, anything that outspeeds us with Scarf is going to outspeed us, but, you know, that extra damage is going to be very, very powerful for us, as we do have dual stab with Energy Ball and Sledge Bomb, Hidden Power Ice, like I said, and then extra Sensory is there primarily for that Cobalion and as well as that Toxapex. So I'm hoping that, you know, Corsage will be able to be used efficiently. The couple times I have brought it, it hasn't been able to do what I wanted it to. So hopefully this time around, it will be able to do what it should do. My thoughts around this team right now, before I reveal our last mon, is to I always want to lead Exploud and just click Boom Burst because it's just super powerful. But say that Landorus comes in, it's very, very scary to eat up an Earthquake. Or if he even wants to have like Explosion or something like that. It's super scary. It's super scary. But then the other thought is I could lead Corsage, and if he wants to lead Landorus, we can easily Hidden Power Ice or find out if he's going to be Scarfed for the U-turn. And if we find out that he's Scarfed, that's awesome. So it's whatever. I'll my thoughts will become more clear in the battle, but yeah, that's my thoughts right now. And then finally, last but not least, having a wonderful sweep last week. Of course, we can't have a week without the Blazing Squid. Blazing Squid is here, you guys. And for this set, I don't know. This set was really, really hard for me to choose. I'm running the Charcoal set just to power up our Flare Blitz with the Blaze. So as our Flare Blitz do have recoil on us and we get closer and closer to that Blaze range, it's the reason why he's called Blazing Squid for his YouTube channel, and the reason why I'm naming this thing Blazing Squid is, Blaze, it powers up Flare Blitz quite a bit, let me tell you what. But Flare Blitz, of course, just really decimates a lot of his mons. Huge amount of damage. We have Mach Punch instead of Close Combat this week, however, just to guarantee that mons like the Greninja or like maybe a Swords Dancing Cobalion can't stay in on us just because of that speed type with Cobalion. And then Greninja is a pretty frail mon in general, so if we get to a low enough health, we should be able just to Mach Punch and easily knock it out for a quick revenge kill. We have Gunk Shot for the Sylveon, just because Sylveon I just see as one of the more threatening, one of the bigger threats on his team. And then last but not least, I needed a Stealth Rocker, and Infernape was really the one to really have that on it, just because Palladium, of course, just needs that Toxic just to really stall down those other mons. And so I figured, this is the right time to run Stealth Rock on Infernape, and there will be a wonderful time for me to set up, because there's a lot of threats I can threaten out with this thing. For sure, especially if he wants to switch into a Toxapex, we get up rocks, we'll be able to do what we can. And yeah, so that's our team for this week, you guys. Let me know in the description, not in the description, wow, that's bad. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think of this team, what mons you think I should have brought. I will say, Salamence was extremely, extremely close to coming this week, guys. I'm not even lying. Salamence was super close. It was just so ridiculously close to coming. It's not even funny. Other mons that could have potentially come. Armaldo was there to be our Stealth Rocker, however, it just lacked the power to really hit the team as much as we wanted, especially with Landorus there. Even though, we could have, X-Scissored the Shaman, Stone Edge, the Talonflame, Earthquake, the Magneton knockoff, of course, for a lot of his mons. It was, it was really, really... It was there for us. Crocodile was in that same boat, but Armaldo almost basically won Crocodile over just because of that extra bulk. And then who else did I not bring? Who else did I not bring? I'm gonna quickly cheat here. You guys can see it on the screen. I'm gonna quickly cheat here. Miss Magius was almost a possibility as well. Nasty Plot was pretty awesome, but the fact that Cobalion, Greninja, Talonflame, Megalodion were all there. It's like, well, what if I run it Scarfed? Well, then I'm locked into one move, and that doesn't really help me. I could have Dazzling Gleam for most of it, but then, what? It's just like Miss Magius wasn't doing the damage output I wanted. And then Florges is actually taking a seat on the bench this week. While I wanted to have that special bulk, I feel like Mega Aggron is pretty much can handle a lot of special attacking threats as long as they're not specs into anything in particular. So Aromatherapy would have also been nice, just because there is a potential for another burn situation like we had last week with the what's it called, with the Cofagrigus. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Once again, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully we'll be able to stay the #1 seed in the LDL. But that's it for me, guys. My name is Sunbrother2, and I'll see you in the next one.